Welcome to the BEASTwriter Family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we have the privilege of sitting down with my man, Emeka Nnoli. If you guys don't know who he is, he was the starting fullback, actually top recruited fullback coming out of high school, played under Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. Emeka, thank you for joining us on today's BEASTwriter Family show. We are happy to have you on, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to meet with us today.
Of course, my pleasure. I mean, looking forward to going through this process and getting a sense of your audience here. A long time ago. Let's talk about when I played a long time ago when I was getting recruited out of high school. But all good stuff, and happy to support this channel and reach out to your audience.
Now you are very humble. Weren't you the number 2 ranked recruited fullback coming out of high school? Like, you were number 2 over in the country, not just the California. Like, weren't you like ranked really, really high?
All right. The key word there is fullback. Okay. Let's talk about the position as a whole. It's not. I wasn't the number 2 ranked quarterback coming out of high school.
Right.
From a value perspective, fullback. But yeah, I think I was number 2, right behind. I think it was Ronaldo McLean, who played a few years for the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. So. Yeah, technically coming out of high school, I was pretty much tailback, right? The type of offense we ran was wing T, the full back, quote unquote, got the ball 20, 30 times a game, right? So it was effectively the fullback. And then, being a 230, 240 pound player playing running back, they're like, okay, you're going to put your hand in the dirt. You're going to play fullback once you get into college. So that was my transition over there. But yeah, I guess number 2, I guess we could talk about that.
That's actually, yeah. I mean, see, you're humble. Even you're a fullback, it doesn't matter, dude. Number 2 in the country. Come on, dude. Like, that's crazy. And yeah, I did my research. You did play running back or tailback in that wing T offense. Can you explain the wing T offense? A lot of people don't know what that means. Obviously, it's it's based out of what, 21 personnel or 22 personnel, depending on
personnel. Basically, the backfield, you have 2 wing backs. Opposite side of the formation, and the fullback's right directly behind, as usual, behind the quarterback, and you're running schemes based on that, right? The whole idea of the wing T is it's a lot of deception, right? Not your traditional I formation, power I, running up the gut. I mean, there's a lot of deception in terms of handoffs, fakes, and all that good stuff. And the fullback, I mean, that's typically in a wing T, I mean, he's your tailback, right? He's getting the ball a good share.
Now, where did your passion for football come from? Was it something that was ingrained in you as a little kid, or how did that passion come about?
You know what? Growing up, man, in my family, first of all, my background a little bit, I'm Nigerian. My parents were immigrants coming to this country, so we were soccer, first and foremost. That was my first sport that I played.
Wow.
And I played that for a few years, and football did not come up until my head coach was like, my soccer coach was like, hey, you need to think about putting your son into football. I mean, I was out there, roughing up kids. I was obviously big for my age. And also, I just like contact naturally. Right. And it was funny. I mean, it was funny, but the coach was like, you should think about putting your kid into football. And if you know about soccer and football play over the same season. So
right.
My first year playing football, I played both. I was soccer still, but also played football, and it was a struggle. It was a transition for me. I was not used to the hitting, right? I mean, growing up, I'm a Niners guy through and through. And growing up, I watched everybody. I idolized, everybody from the Niners. I'm a Bay Area guy, but I still love the Raiders. But it was just a matter of, someone pushing me saying, hey, you might be a better fit for football. And then I started that, I think, 4th grade. Sucked my first year. I was a nose guard, and I played offensive guard. Granted, I was playing Pop Warner. The first class that I was in was Pee Wee. So I was maybe 10, 11 years old playing Pee Wee up against kids that were 12, 13. Uh-huh. So I was playing at that age. There's a huge age difference between a couple of years. So I was definitely big for my weight, but got beat up every practice. Wanted to quit, stuck it through, and the rest is history, I guess.
All right, I think there's audio problems on, I don't know if it's your end or my end. If there's audio problems, can you guys let us know if it's me or Emeka or both of us? Let us know, and then we can go ahead and fix that. So my apologies for that. But I can hear you fine, Emeka. You can hear me fine, right?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. So if everything's good, let us know. If everything's not good, let us know. Thank you so much. We're just going to continue on. So we're talking about exactly your rise, your passion for the game. Obviously, I had no idea that you had soccer background in your. Okay, so I guess it's fixed now. Okay, good. All right. So getting back to it, thank you so much, the audience for BEASTwriter Family for doing that. Let's talk about. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about Jim Harbaugh. You played under Jim Harbaugh. We had some former players come on the show, talk about Jim Harbaugh. It's no secret. Jim Harbaugh rubs some people the wrong way, but he also rubs some people the right way. He either likes you or he doesn't like you, but at the end of the day, he's a winner, right? He's a proven winner day in and day out.
Yeah.
You cannot knock the guy for not winning because the guy is a winner. Now, he may be a little bit different, but he gets the job done. What was it like playing under a coach like Jim Harbaugh? And did you know what you were getting yourself into when you made the jump to Stanford and knowing that he was going to be your coach?
Yeah, and first of all, I don't think many people know this, but Harbaugh's favorite position was fullback.
Yeah.
So coming in, there was obviously the high expectations in what he deems a college level high performing fullback should be. So he came in, obviously watched film of the past year, and he got on my ass. All right, he was like, "This is not good enough." Right. He had high expectations in his fullback, and he had a good one at San Diego. I can't remember his name. I think he was a free agent and played in the league maybe a couple years.
Okay.
But he showed me a lot of film on him. He was just like, okay, you need to do better than what was last year. Harbaugh, what differentiates him from other coaches? And I've had coaches, regardless of the sport, going all the way back to when I was like 3 years old. He's just different, right? He's just a different guy. It's just his mentality and his approach to, his expectations in players, his expectations in coaches. He knows his X's and O's, but I think the biggest thing is the fact that, his energy and his charisma behind everything that he does is it kind of goes, it goes through everybody, right? We all feel it. Regardless of the type of energy it is. As you mentioned, he rubs people the wrong way, but we all respect him. He's a damn good coach. We call him kind of a football savant, right? He just knows how to get that little bit out of you that you didn't get before. And I think I told you this before, but he kicked my ass that his first year coming in. That first year, he kicked my ass, and he got the most out of me more than I ever thought I could get out.
As a coach, isn't that something that you kind of want to push for? You want to reach a player's potential. A lot of times this kid has a lot of potential, but does he reach that potential? Certain players are motivated by certain factors, right? When you get to the NFL level, some people are motivated by money, others are motivated by something else. Would you say he's great at motivating specific people and getting them to do and buy into the program or whatever it is he's trying to accomplish better than any other coach that you had in your career?
Absolutely. There's players that are intrinsically self-motivated, right? And those are the ones that you want, right? And there's players that need a little bit more pushing, need a little bit more energy. And Harbaugh did not lack energy, right? He will get on your ass. He will challenge us in practice. He thought he was just as good as us at, I don't know how old he was, 45, 40 something. He would do push-ups. He would run and he would like chest bump us. He would tackle us. He thought that he could compete with us at the highest level, and he would do the same shit that we would do. So you love that, right? People could say he rubbed them the wrong way. They didn't like him, but at the end of the day, you respected him because he got down and dirty with you, right? Socially, it was a little bit different, and how he conducted himself and navigated those different personalities and structures that we had in place at Stanford. But when it came to football, like, he got the best out of you. He knew his X's and O's. He knew that he needed to surround himself with the right type of coaches, right? And at the same time, you need to motivate those coaches, right? You need to bring them along and lead them as well, assistants down to position coaches. So he did the right things, from the top to bottom to really build a program out.
Right on, dude. Let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff. Did Harbaugh have any memorable sayings that he used during his time at the farm? Like, iron sharpens iron. That I heard that. He always says, "Oh, that guy is a football player." That's like the ultimate respect that you can get from Jim Harbaugh when he just calls you a straight up football player.
Yeah.
That guy just loves football. Is there anything that that you remember that he said that kind of stuck with you until today?
I think a lot of the Niners guys, Niner fans out there know that his saying was, what was it? It was, who got it better than us? Right? Right? You remember that?
There you go. Yeah.
Who got it better? Who got it better than us? Nobody.
Yeah.
That was one of his favorite sayings, and he get a thumbs up out there. But that's something that we heard literally every day. Iron sharpens iron. You always say, "My guy, he's my guy." Yeah, he's my guy. And the thing that I always do preach about, like now that I have a team myself, it's just like he would come in and tell us, we want to hear you say, "Coach me, coach," right? I mean, that was his saying a lot, like "Coach me, coach," right? Making sure that you're motivated, showing that you are engaged and that you want to get better. At the time, I was just like, that's weird. I mean, you're the coach. You should be able to coach us up. What are you talking about? But again, he had these funny quirks about him that it's different from any other coach, right? That was just totally different, but it makes sense now. But as a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, it's just like, this guy's weird. He's unlike any other coach that we had before. But there's goodness in weird, right? There's difference. There's winning and weird, obviously. So that was all good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I everything you're saying, I can validate that. Well, one, because I think it's hard when you're a college coach and then you're a pro coach. How do the two translate? Because one, you're making money, the other you're not, at least not yet, right? So it's like when you're a college player and you're a pro player, does his coaching style change? There's a lot of successful college coaches who never made the transition to the NFL and then they just crapped out. They just couldn't do it and they went back to college ranks, for whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh seems to be universally loved by both pro players and college players, and he's a winner at both programs. Wherever like whatever the program he's trying to build, everybody buys into it. So it seems like he has a foundation set forth. And isn't it true? I don't know. I never played for Harbaugh, but I covered him. It seems like the same mentality that he brought over from the farm, it translated onto his first year in San Francisco back in 2011.
Yeah, and obviously he had a lot of success. But yeah, you're totally right. I think there's differences between college and pro, right? The money thing's one thing. They're also grown men, right? You're dealing with probably bigger egos, right? And so he just knew how to appeal to people's different personalities, regardless if they liked it or not. It was a different, quirky way, but at the end of the day, man, it comes down to results, right? And he won games, and that was what masked any issue, problem in the locker room, or any issue that you might have had with him. The winning just kind of it was a great antidote to any other issue out there, right?
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about you and your injury. For those who don't know, you had a career-ending injury. It was a hip injury. Can you elaborate on what happened and why you chose the route to retire instead of getting some surgeries done and then possibly making some type of a comeback, since you're so young at that age?
Yeah. So first of all, the injury was more so a condition, right? The condition was called avascular necrosis, which, it's still up in the air in terms of how I developed that and, where it came from. It's not hereditary. It's not genetics, right? It's not in my family. But I did have a kidney disease. And so I was taking medication, prednisone, which is pretty common, but also a terrible drug, right? And that might have been a reason why. And I was taking that in high school towards the end of my first diagnosed with a kidney issue, and a year in high school, pretty heavily on prednisone, senior year, freshman year in college. But going into my freshman year in college, I've had shoulder problems. I separated my shoulders so many times in high school, coming into my freshman year. So I had scans on my shoulder, and they saw that there was issues with my shoulders. It was pretty arthritic at my age, right? And they had some concerns, to see. I wonder if this is the same issue you might be having in your hips. And we did early scans my freshman year in college on my hips, right? they did not discover anything wrong with my hips at the time, right? So fast forward 4 years later, right? The year before my junior, so the year before my last year, I was just, I was just going through a lot of pain. Flexibility wasn't quite there as before, so I was just like, let me just go ahead and get this checked out, right? Got an MRI scan, and that's when they found out that the area that my hip was just dead, right? And so did some tests, discovered that it was basically avascular necrosis. Had a conversation with the doctor, Stanford doctor at the time, and basically like, hey man, you might need a hip replacement by the time you're 25, right? So this is the decision you might need to make. Like, do you want to continue playing because your shelf life is going to be pretty short? A 25-year-old with a hip replacement, and that's not the ideal life. So made a decision at that point to stop, protect as much as I can. So I had hip surgery. It was more preventative to try to prolong that area in my joint that's dead. So right now I'm fine, walking around, in the gym, running around, doing what I can in the gym.
I can't even tell, dude. I couldn't even tell when I was like, what?
Yeah,
I couldn't tell, dude. You're at that squat rack. I was like, what are you doing, dude? What the hell?
That's the one time you caught me at a squat rack in years. But yeah, that's what Harbaugh said, and some of the coaches are like, this type of condition, it's, you go through a lot of pain. Right. And I was obviously going through a lot of pain over the past few years, but I thought it was normal. I was like, okay, I'm a football player. You suck it up. Everyone goes through pain. Everyone goes through a certain amount of hurt. Like, I can't imagine anybody else not going through the same amount of pain as me. And that was my mentality. So I decided to hang it up after I got that conversation with the doctor, thinking, what, my life, the health of my life, the rest of my life is more important than maybe a couple more years in football. So, yeah.
That's and knowing that your career is over and your NFL dream, or if it was a dream, I don't know if it was your goal or one of your goals to possibly play in the NFL. Obviously, that was out of the question. You transitioned into, well, one, you're a smart kid. You went to Stanford. What are you doing today? It was kind of like a blessing in disguise, so to speak, right? Because what are you doing today?
So I work in tech. Yeah. So I work in tech sales, actually, to be specific, for a startup. Ever since I hung it up, I was just trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to do. And that's the beautiful thing about Stanford, right? There's a huge network, right? There's people out there that want to help. And so, it came down to now me turning into basically, let me figure out, what I want to do from a career perspective, right? Football's done. And I did have goals. I did have dreams playing NFL, but that completely got eliminated once I obviously retired. And so I needed to figure out what the hell I wanted to do after that. I had great resources and support on my side. And obviously Stanford being the type of academic institution, there was obviously tons of opportunities, especially in the Bay Area. So,
right. Yeah, you're a smart guy. You're very humble. Like, you don't like talking about yourself, I can tell, but you're very humble in what you do. Let me ask you, well, there's a question for you. All right. We have loyal BEASTwriter family member Arun Singh. He actually owns a pizzeria called Big Boss Man's Pizza. I got to check it out still, but it got 4 stars on Yelp. Bro, we got to go together. This place is dynamite. Do you look at the Yelp reviews? I'm not joking. Anyways, this is the owner. He said, did you graduate from Stanford? If you did, that's very good. Did you graduate from Stanford?
Yes, I did.
There you go. How many people can say that? How many people can say they graduated, period? And let alone Stanford University. I am jealous. I don't think I was smart enough to go to Stanford.
Hey, you know what? If it wasn't for football, I don't know if I would have got in. But not to do myself a disservice or any other student athlete that goes to Stanford. I mean, we have to still get in the same way students get in, right? Yeah. That's unlike any other D1A, definitely Power 5 conference, right? So imagine that, right? Imagine, playing in a Power 5 conference, competing against other schools that don't have the same academic requirements as Stanford. Right. And that was the biggest challenge, right? That was the biggest challenge for us, is being able to recruit. So we did have to get in the same way as students. They do factor in, right? They do factor in that you are an athlete, you played at the highest level coming out of high school. So that helped me out a little bit, right? As a football player. So
Aran Sung says, "Thank you for the plug and good for him. Good for you. Any day, my doors are always open for you. So anytime you want pizza, dude, just like, hey, I was on the BEASTwriter Family show.
I'm a pizza connoisseur. I run. I'm coming through. All right.
Yeah, look. CJ Ruthless Sports, another one of our loyal followers in the BEASTwriter Family says, Big Boss Man's Pizza seems like a dope name. Maybe if I'm around San Jose area. Yeah, Big Boss Man's Pizza is a pretty, I mean, hey, when we go to the gym, we're going to Yelp some stuff. And I'll tell you, dude, the reviews are freaking.
You know what? I'm Yelping it right now. I might have to check it out.
Dude, it's like Indian pizza. But I don't know if you ever had Indian pizza.
I've had Indian pizza. It's freaking bomb. It's fire. It's so
the spices, right? It's ridiculous. It's
so good.
Good. Yeah, it's legit. But yeah, he's located in San Jose. But yeah, he good. All right. So I have a question. Since you played fullback, the fullback position has become obsolete, obviously. But the Niners have a good one, and Kyle Juszczyk. How underrated is the fullback position in today's NFL, despite it being obsolete? And it's kind of like the dinosaur position nowadays. But in your opinion, do you think the fullback position ultimately will never die out? Because at the end of the day, you still have to run in a deep playoff push, especially late December, early January, to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, to answer your question, I don't think it will die out. I mean, we've been talking about the fullback position being devalued, a dying position since I was in high school, right? And it's still around, right? You might not have the same numbers, but you still have teams that deploy a fullback. I mean, look at Kyle. I mean, look at the Niners, and the Niners are highly successful and they perform well. I mean, it just comes down to your scheme, right? It comes down to, how you execute that scheme, right? And it's really up to that. It's really up to the offensive coordinator, position coaches to really put a fullback in the right position to make that scheme successful. And you can see it, right, with the Niners and whoever else uses a fullback. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's ever going away. I think it is underrated. It's a lot of successful teams in college too still use fullback. There are a lot of college teams that still use fullbacks, even in the Pac-12, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
SC still uses it. Obviously, we still use it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of teams that are successful still use a fullback, and I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
What makes the fullback position so underrated? I think, in my opinion, this is my take on it, being a insider analyst. I look at it as the X factor position in terms of the more you utilize the fullback, especially if he can catch out of the backfield, he can do multiple different things. He opens up the playbook. One, he can act as a decoy off play action pass, but it can also be used in goal line, short yardage situations and moving the chains. All these factors play a role in ultimately winning or losing the outcome of the game. In your opinion, is that true? And if so, how come more teams are not using the fullback? Is it based more on the way the NFL is geared? Spread them out wide, protect the quarterback. You can't bump and run past 5 yards anymore, or even before that. I mean, that's the Mel Blount rule. But all these rules are dictated toward the offense. How come the fullback position can't be a part of that and get a piece of that pie?
Yeah, and I think it's because of today's age. Like you said, spread them out wide. It's 5 wide, right? A lot of it's around versatility too. They look at fullbacks as just bruisers, right? And you see versatility with tight ends, right? Maybe having a tight end move back as an H-back a little bit. But at the same time, you still have the option of him being a pass catcher, splitting him out wide. I think in the NFL today, it's a lot about versatility, spreading it out, and scoring, throwing the ball and getting the ball out and scoring. And, fullbacks, I think in their mind are sort of a detriment to being able to move fast and score as fast as possible because it's a sort of a traditional ground and pound, right? But as you know, the Niners, we love our ground and pound. That shit works.
It does.
We're good with that. And, teams like that will stick with it because at the end of the day, it's ground and pound, turning the clock, taking minutes off the clock. I mean, there's a proven formula and making that work. So I hope, more teams look at that. But again, I think it's the times that we live in now with the NFL, it's all about scoring and passing.
It is. You're a big Niner fan. You heard about the Niner news, obviously, or if you didn't, I'm going to release it to you, but I'm pretty sure you know. The 2 players got torn, or one player got torn ACL, one got a torn Achilles. Justin
No,
School and Tavarius Moore. Yeah, they both
I didn't know that.
went down to season-ending injuries in Monday's practice. Get this, dude.
No.
Yeah, get this. Top-rated backups, right? Now get this. They went down to season-ending injuries. Now Kyle Shanahan canceled practice from here on out, canceled mandatory mini camp, and they won't open up until training camp because so many players are go down. Now this is a reoccurring problem under Jim Harbaugh. When I covered Jim Harbaugh, injuries did not happen except the last year that he was there. But I mean, other than that, I mean, they were in a deep playoff run for 3 straight NFC championship games. I saw the practices, the way he organized it. He was always a full go. He was on it 24/7. Yeah. Do you think Jim Harbaugh pushing you guys to your limits in practice prepared you to not get injured because of the neuromuscular efficiency involved, because of the mind-muscle connection that you have to do in your phases of each strenuous program that he has you on? And ultimately, I know players get upset about Jim Harbaugh's practice regime, but ultimately, in your opinion, do you think that actually helped you in the end?
I think it played a part. It didn't help me.
Yeah.
No, but mine. I mean, I'm just kidding. Mine was more of a condition, but I think it played a part, man. But what did they say? Like, I mean, you play fast, and you're not going to get hurt, and you're not going to get injured, right? I mean, so it was constantly playing fast, hitting in practice. When Harbaugh came to Stanford, like, I don't remember the last time I did Oklahoma drills. I'm not sure if you guys know what Oklahoma drills are.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite Oklahoma drills where 2 players lay on their back and they get up and ram each other in the head, but we were pretty much doing that. But we were off in a 3-point stance. Defender was obviously in his stance, and we did that every single practice. Like every single practice, that was the first thing. After just kind of like warm-ups, that was the first thing that we did to get the practice started was Oklahoma drills.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like I loved Oklahoma drills, but again, like when we were kids, we didn't really get hurt. We didn't get injured, and I don't remember us getting injured a lot. Granted, we also had a great strength coach. Right, Shannon Turley was our strength coach during that time, and I'm not sure who Harbaugh brought over to the Niners, but Shannon stayed with Stanford. There wasn't a whole lot of injuries. It was all functional movement, and then when we got on the practice field, we did a lot of hitting. So
yeah, I remember that. Sit tight for a second. I gotta hold on.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you on that. And the reason I bring this up is because Kyle Shanahan, there's been a lot of heat on him and how he structures his practices. There's a lot of players getting hurt, bro. This is a common denominator, okay? The common denominator is when Jim Harbaugh was there was a guy by the name of Mark Uyama, who was a strength and conditioning coach at the time. Little to none of the players. You didn't see this. I mean, obviously injuries happen, okay? They happen. Some players are just injury prone. But when it came to Harbaugh's regime, when he was in dude, those players lasted a lifetime. I mean, 3 straight NFC championship games and 1 Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
Not getting unscathed. That doesn't happen. 3 straight. This is not like 1 year off and then the next. No, this is like a full on, like, this is like a book, like a chapter story of. And then all of a sudden you have, strength and conditioning coaches coming in and out, right? You had Ray Wright, and now you have Dustin Perry. And before that, you had the other guy. Can't remember his name, but what is going on there? Like, what is, in my opinion, coming from strength and training background, for me, if you're trying to build up a certain program, wouldn't you want the same guys in place to where there'll be little to no drop off going into the following year? Because at the end of the day, you're having new players coming in too, so now you have to teach those guys how to prepare for themselves. And Emeka, in the off season, come on, let's call it what. Not everyone is as disciplined or as strict. We all want to have our fun. We all want to eat, horrible foods. I get it. We're kids. We're young. We can do what the heck we want. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your workout program, a lot of these players don't know how to train. Yeah. Would you agree with that? Like, was there players that you played with and be like, what are they doing? Like, oh, they're posting videos that they can squat this much. Well, they're not even, their form's off. Like, what are they doing? They're going to hurt themselves. And ultimately, little do they know, they do get hurt during the duration of the season. Then they wonder why. It's like, well, look how you were training with no one there to supervise you. You're just trying to go through the motions and do it yourself.
Yeah. A lot of young players, they don't know how to train. Some of the older players, like the veterans, I mean, they'll make sure they take care of the body, right? Because they want to last longer. But when you're young, you think you're invisible. You think you can just kind of bounce back and recover from an injury, but it's not the same the older you get. So, it comes down to training. Obviously, taking care of your body, eating the right foods. I know I didn't do a whole lot of that. I didn't have any really bad football injury. I had a high ankle sprain, I think my sophomore year, but outside of that, right, a lot of it's just like, honestly, it might be genetics. And my thing is like a lot of it kind of falls down to genetics and not necessarily just training and health and nutrition. It's genetics. Typically the people that are a little bit more athletic do a better job at avoiding injuries. I mean, look at NBA. I mean, so many injuries this year, going into this year, and they attest it they blame it on the shortened season. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, let's look at your body. Like, how does your body move? How does it function? They talked about Zion, teaching him how to walk again. I'm like, hey, you drafted a player, number one, and you got to teach him how to walk. Shouldn't you consider that, going into the pre-draft evaluation, like the guy walking properly? But yeah, I mean, a lot of it could be genetics too. People are just, more prone to injuries regardless of their training and their nutrition.
Right. No, I agree with that. Peter Moore says, Beast, what kind of dog is that? Is that Shih Tzu? Yeah, that was my Shih Tzu. CJ Ruthless Sports says it's very common every year. It's either terrible turf or players not in physical shape. I think to what you're saying, it does play a role. I think genetics do play a role. I spoke about that as well. It's a lot of different parameters rolled into one. I don't think you can just pinpoint one thing. But with that being in strength and conditioning coaches are there for a reason. So these things don't happen. Now there has to be a fall guy, and the fall guy is going to have to be the strength. That's his old, you have one job, bro. Jim Harbaugh would tell you have one job, dude. Do your job. You have one job.
He would say
that. You know how Harbaugh would go about.
Oh, he would definitely would say that. You got one job. Do your job. Do your job. You got one job.
One job. One job. See? Yeah. So I know Dustin Perry is the former strength and conditioning coach. I think I'm not like I'm calling him for a job or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the hot seat. How can you not? And players get hurt all the time. It's football, but it happens more so to the 49ers than any other team. And you cannot say, oh, they're drafting injured players, because throughout the whole draft process this year, they're like, oh, they went away from trying injured players. And then they just signed a veteran safety coming off a torn ACL, and then another one just had a torn ACL. So it's like, what the heck are they doing? I'm at a loss for words, because there's so much science behind the strength and conditioning portion of it, and there's different theories. Different strength and condition. If you talk to one strength and conditioning coach and talk to two others, they will all have differing opinions on how they want their program to be restructured and made. Correct?
Right.
So
and they're all effective and they work in their own way as long as you're disciplined about it. But they will own it, right? They're like, this is my approach. This is my methodology. You do this, you're going to be, you're going to be a better player. You're going to be, your body's going to be better. And you know what? They're right. I mean, as long as you do what they tell you to do. Now there might be some that are, more aligned with, functional training, more aligned with preventing injuries, than others. And that's maybe something that we have to look into, as a Niner, as a program. They might have to look into something like that. Stop maxing out on squats, stop maxing out on, bench press. Like, let's start working on things that will prevent you from getting injured. I mean, that's where we're at as a program right now, because if you can't play, man, the best availability is availability. And, these players are not on the field.
Dude, that's so crazy, because under Harbaugh, you did not have this problem. And that's why people are like, well, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yeah, you have to trust me. It was really, really, what's the better lack of the word? It became toxic. Okay. It became toxic, right? In the, being there at Levi, because, Trent Baalke, Jed York, Jim Harbaugh, you just felt the energy. You just felt the vibe. You knew it. Yeah. And but the one thing that Jim Harbaugh did was he won, and he was on it, dude. And I talked to the strength and conditioning coaches, in the NFL, that were with the Niners and with other NFL teams, or who move on to other NFL teams, obviously college too. The one thing that they will all agree on is no matter what kind of strenuous program you have in place, ultimately the players have to buy into the program. And if you're not keeping on track of the players buying into the program, you're already at a disadvantage once off-season training programs roll into place. So ultimately, everybody has to be on the same page. It's the players' responsibility just as much as the coaches to go ahead and get it right. Now, if there's a disconnect there where people don't trust Dustin Perry and they're like, and they have their own personal trainers, because I know this, that's another thing I know about, is a lot of these players, I'm not going to name who, but the ones that you see that are high round picks have their own strength and conditioning coaches outside of the ones that are signed by the San Francisco 49ers. And I can tell you this, those trainers are telling them different things than what the coach that the Niners hired are telling them. And you cannot tell me that the two are going to agree. Because like I said, everybody has their own line of thinking. And it's not necessarily one is better. It's just different.
Yeah.
Agree?
Agreed.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to better things. We talked about the fullback position, talked about, you're playing deads at Stanford, talked about what you're doing now in your career, talked about your perseverance, talk about a little bit about where you're from. I think that's an interesting story. We have a lot of people who aren't raised and born here in the United States. We have people from Romania. We have people, there's people all over the world who come on to here. So it's interesting.
Tell my African brethren on here.
Dude, I'm sure there are. Dude. Oh, you know what? There's a few from Jamaica. They chime in all the time.
Let's go.
Tell us a little bit about your background, man. Like, talk about the food, the culture there, what it's like living there.
Well, I grew up here. I was born and raised here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm from Sacramento, so I'm not too far from the Bay Area. But I lived in the Bay Area ever since college. So 15 plus years now. I'm kind of dating myself, but yeah, from Sacramento. Sacramento, we're underrated football, scene. We got a lot of players that come out of Sacramento. But I grew up, went to public high school. Obviously, parents, Nigerian immigrants. They came. My dad in the 60s. His brothers went to Stanford, actually. So we got some Stanford people in my family. So when I graduated Stanford, it wasn't a big deal. They're like, you're supposed to do that. But they came in the 60s. My mom came in the 70s, and they raised 4 kids, right? Sacramento. I was the sports player in my family, and the thing about, I think, not just Nigerians and Africans, but the thing about immigrants in general is that they definitely prioritize academics over like everything else. So if my grades weren't straight, that shit wasn't good. Like, I wasn't playing. They consider sports as like, fun, right? And I was the kid that was just into everything. It was obviously soccer, football, but I played baseball, I played basketball. I swam. I did everything, and but first and foremost, it was making sure I took care of business in the classroom. But yeah, man, it was a unique experience being raised in sort of an immigrant household. You kind of have to find the balance between your culture, but then navigating this Black culture here, and just navigating society in general, like trying to find your identity. So in high school, because of that, it made it easier for me in high school to be able to balance or navigate different personalities, different social groups. I was hanging out with the nerds, taking AP classes, honor classes. Wow. And then, I'll be with the jocks, playing basketball, football, and just could be able to balance between these different groups, and hanging out with, every different kind of background, ethnicity, experience, diversity. That was all, because of the way I was raised and, the type of household we had.
That's awesome, man. There's a question here about Michael McCann. It says, when did Julio Jones' injury start? Was it under Shanahan? No, I believe that was just the last year. If you watch, well, actually, no, I take that back. It was early on in his career. I'm not sure if it was under Shanahan, but in his last 7 seasons, I'll just say this. In his last 7 seasons, he's played in 90% of the games. So when people say he's injury prone, I just look at that as recency bias. I think people are just going back to last year and saying, oh, well, he missed 7 games or X amount of games because he only played in 9, and that's why he's injury prone. No, I like looking at the body of history over the last 7 years or 8 years or so forth and say, hey, look, this guy played in 90% of the games. All right. So Aran Singh says from Big Boss Man's Pizza, BEASTwriter Family says, Beast, do you think we will sign another tackle? Who would you sign? Same for safety to replace Tarvarius Moore. Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. Well, Tarvarius Moore, they already got a replacement in Tony Jefferson. And as far as tackle, they're gonna have to find somebody. I don't know who that is. Is there anyone that you think that the Niners should sign, Emeka?
I don't know. I mean, let's sign someone that's gonna be able to stay on the field, stay healthy.
Dude.
Can we sign who's going to stay healthy all year?
Let's just get a new strength and conditioning coach so they can make sure that these guys are on the field. No, I give Dustin Perry a hard time. We don't really know what's going on, but I will say he does play a role in it because he is the strength and conditioning coach. He has to play some type of a role in it. You cannot say it's not his fault. Yes, it's partially his fault. It's partially also Kyle Shanahan's fault too, because he's the one that's pushing these players. See, that's why everyone has to be in lockstep, right? I think the strength and conditioning coach, the head coach have to be in lockstep exactly when they do their programs, when they formulate saying, hey, look, what are you working on these guys to get them ready to what I want them to do on the field, right? Whether it's working on lateral agility, whether it's working on our pad, whatever. These are not, we're not in full pads. We're not in full shells. We're not hitting. Like, this is like non-contact stuff that's going on here for the most part. It's just crazy, dude. Like, it's just nuts to me. I can't believe it, man. And as a Niner fan, aren't you like a little like pissed off? Like,
hell
dude,
hell yeah.
That's the word to use, is you're pissed off. It's like, okay, why doesn't everyone just take the whole freaking off season off? Just week 1, just go.
That's a blow. And like in the offseason, when you hear about an injury, that's just like, man, because everyone's like, oh, this is going to be our year. This is going to be our year. I mean, we got a quarterback, we got potential there. Let's see what, this is Shanahan, not Shanahan, but this is Lynch's. This is his proving year. So like, we feel like there's a lot going into this year. And then all of a sudden you hear about these injuries. You're just like, man, it's like a blow. Like we just can't catch a break. Right. It just sucks.
And it's crazy, man. And again, I get it. Some players, good players, are injury prone, but never have sustained success because they're always injured. Literally, even when we play high school sports, that one kid's like, oh, you're getting ready for the tournament or a big game, you're in TCF playoffs or whatever. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you come in on Monday to school and then you're like, hey, Josh isn't playing today. You're like, what do you mean Josh isn't? What he didn't make grades or what? No, he was in a bicycle accident. Like a bike accident? No, like he was riding a bike and somebody just sideswiped him on accident, not in a car, on another bike, and now he rolled his ankle and now he's out for the whole entire term. Okay, cool. So who's going to be our starting wide receiver then? Like he does everything. What's going to happen?
Right.
There's just those freak accidents. Oh, okay. Another story. Oh, such and such, Brian. Oh, Brian's not playing. How come Brian's not playing? Oh, he was rollerblading the other day and he tripped over his sister's doll.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's out for the year. How bad is that? Oh, it's a high ankle sprain. Oh, what grade is it? Oh, it's where it's grade 2000. It's the highest grade possible. You had a high ankle sprain. People don't understand high ankle sprains. Basically, there's variation. There's grades of high ankle sprains. What grade sprain was yours?
I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Did it require surgery?
No surgery.
Oh, okay. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But some do. I was out. It was painful. But yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It sucks.
How do you recover it? Tell people about the high ankle sprain recovery. Obviously, you like to use the RICE method, right? Rest, ice, compression, elevate. How often did you do that? And how was it walking on that? Because you were probably on crutches, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or in a walking boot.
Hell yeah. I was in a boot, crutches. It sucked. You do the whole ice, stem, elevate, and it's rinse and repeat, and it's, you're loaded up and it's painful when that first happens. It's one of the most painful things I think I've experienced in all my injuries and, nicks, knacks. That shit sucks. But yeah, it's just like, it takes time. I mean, especially if you're not going through surgery, it takes time for it to heal naturally. But you got to stick with the process of ice stimming, elevating it. Taking pressure off. Limiting impact. Right. So you're not doing anything. You're kind of just limping around for a while.
I don't know if you do this. Obviously, we go to the same gym at Villa Sport. Have you ever hit the cardio yet in terms of swimming? Have you tried swimming out there?
I swam. Yeah. I've swam in that, but like as far as therapy, I've done a lot of therapy, especially for my hips. So when I had my hip surgery, we did a lot of water therapy work. Right. So it was funny because I'll do it at Stanford, in their little Stanford pool, and I have like my little my little floaty around my waist, and we're doing like drills. It wasn't as professional as it is now, but I was over there looking like a clown with a little thing around my waist and doing like little drills in the pool. I'm just like, I wonder if anybody else is watching me right now. But yeah, it's good, man, because obviously, at the end of the day, if it's lower body extremity injury, you're doing some sort of low impact, minimal to no impact type of therapy. Excuse me. Yeah. And that's what I did with my hip surgery, and I still swim today. All right, I mean it's good for your joints. It helps me maintain cardio and stay fit without having to run a marathon and or do things that would be terrible for my joints, right? And that's one of them.
Or the treadmill. A lot of people don't realize like the treadmill is good for you. It's easier on the joints than running outside because of the impact on the concrete outside. So it is easier on the joints. I like swimming because one, you don't realize you're sweating, but you're sweating because you're in water. Mm-hmm. And I know it sounds really weird, but that's one of the reasons why I like swimming. I know it sounds dumb. For me, I just don't, I sweat enough in the sauna. I go in the sauna and steam room right after. Mm-hmm. So I hit that up. And is that something that you did at Stanford during your time there? Did you guys have to, like, what was your recovery like? You just said swimming.
We didn't have saunas.
You didn't?
We didn't have saunas or steam rooms. No.
What?
Does the Niners have it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they do. I haven't been back there, like back there.
I mean, they might have it now, but we didn't have it when I was there. But as far as recovery, we had our we had our PT area where we do stretches. We have our physical trainers, stretch us out, they ice us, they'll wrap us. We got all that. Yeah.
Dude, sauna and steam room is probably one of the best recoveries for athletes. Or non-athletes, who cares? It's just for your mental health in general. Like you go in there and you detox, it releases a lot of toxins. Yeah. It gets that blood flow going. So blood flow prevents injury. It helps with the recovery phase. I mean, the sauna has so many health benefits that people don't realize. And I think if there's a sauna in your vicinity or in your area, you need to take advantage of that. If I was a strength and conditioning coach of the San Francisco 49ers, I would require every one of my players to hit the sauna after their workouts for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Start off in 5-minute intervals, put that up to 150, 160 degrees, let them shake and bake inside there, and then they can go ahead and tweet and Instagram from there, come back out, and then go back in. A lot of people don't go in the sauna or the steam room. They go in the jacuzzi. You know how you have the jacuzzi or the ice baths? Okay, yeah. The old school ice baths?
Yeah.
They do that still. But you're shocking your body. I get it. But then you also want that hot, you want that something that gets the blood flow going. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really helpful and will help prevent injuries. I don't know scientific science behind it, but I'm a firm believer in the sauna for sure.
Oh yeah, it does wonders on my body. I'm not in there as much, but I mean, because of COVID, all that shit was shut down.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back since COVID, but I need to get back into it. I think we had obviously ice bath, but we also had heated tubs too. So that's one thing I would say that we had. You kind of throw yourself in a heated tub, do the whole hot cold treatment. But yeah, I mean, I think a sauna. I'm sure other programs have it. We just didn't have it. That might be too much of a luxury for Stanford. I don't know.
It's Stanford. You guys were like you guys were like the epitome of like, I want to go to Stanford. I want to go to Berkeley. No one says I want to go to like no, he's not here, my alma mater, but like San Diego State. I mean, if that
you had some fun over there at San Diego State, though.
San Diego State, and that's my fraternity right here, bro. Like right here, Phi Kappa Psi. I was the vice president of my fraternity, on frat row. Good times, man. San Diego State is actually a really good school. If anyone considering going to San Diego State, you should definitely consider doing so. Marshall Faulk went to San Diego State. So did Leroy Glover.
He did.
So did Tony Gwynn. So did Kyle Turley. So did my boy Chaz Schillens, who played for the Oakland Raiders. I told him I went to school with him, and he would chill with me. And I told him we had class together. And I told him, hey, you're going to the pros. You always, he's like, what are you talking, bro? It's like, we're in college, bro. I was like, dude, you're going to get drafted, dude, because you freaking fly. He's like, what's your 40 times? Like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I bet you're going to run in the 4.3s. And he ran in the 4.3s. I was like, that's going to be your ticket to the NFL. And he actually got drafted by the Raiders. Couldn't stay healthy, injuries.
Yeah.
And that's why they called him Glass Schillens. That was the nickname they gave him. They gave him
Glass Schillens.
Glass Schillens because he was so fragile. The Oakland Raider fan base nicknamed him Glass Schillens.
From Unbreakable. What's his name?
He couldn't stay on the. But man, the guy was, he was fast. All right, before we head out, I'm gonna go ahead and we always do this in the BEASTwriter family. Is we have what's called the BEASTwriter Family 2-minute drill. Basically, I ask you a series of questions. Okay, I'll ask you a series of questions and you just say the first thing on your mind. Let me know when you're ready to go and we can go ahead and start these questions and I will pull them up.
Let's go.
All right. Getting to know Emeka in the BEASTwriter 2-minute drill. We are off and running.
Yeah.
Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Why?
Just always like pizza. Grew up loving it. One of my favorite go-tos growing up was Round Table. So
that's mine.
That was my go-to, man. I don't know.
Why do people hate on Round Table? One, I
hate on it. People hate. I think people just hate chains, pizza chains, right? And so I don't know, but I mean, obviously, Round Table is a pizza chain, and they love to support maybe their local pizzeria. I don't know, but there's a lot of haters, man. But I did convert also a lot of people who did hate on it originally.
Really?
Because I ate that shit up. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's the pizza spot. Obviously, you talk about Big Boss Man's Pizza or unsing, but I like High Five Pizza off Branham Lane. Have you been there yet?
Been there.
Bro, we got to go together. We're going to get some pizza at Branham Lane, and we're going to grub it up.
We're going to eat a bunch of pizza. we're gonna do a whole lot of bonding over pizza.
Yeah, and we can burn it off at the squat rack.
There it is. There it is.
All right, here's the next one: lobster tail or crab?
Lobster tail.
Yes, my man. Okay, why? Why do you like lobster tail over crab?
It's just meatier. It's easier. Crab's a pain in the ass, man. You got to crack all those shells. Lobster, you just you slit it open and you go at it. It's easy.
Dude, I am the same way with you. I like lobster tail. No joke. I can eat like 8 or 9 lobster tails in one sit. Like I can eat a lot. I can eat a lot of lobster.
I could do that. I could do that too, but because of the way my system is set up and gout and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work out for me. So I gotta in moderation.
All right. Dog lover or cat lover?
Dog.
Do you have dogs?
I got 3. Yeah.
What kind?
2 bullies, 2 American bullies, and a Maltipoo.
Ooh.
Kind of Maltipoo throws them off. Yeah.
Yeah. I would expect that. I was like, a Rottweiler, a German Shepherd. No.
The Maltipoo throws it off. Yep.
All right. All right. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Ooh, why pancakes?
You could get, I don't know. I guess you could get creative with waffles too, but I just like them better. My dad made some bomb pancakes and he still does. And so like anytime I go home, he makes them for me. And it's easier. Like people never really had the waffle machine, right? You never really had that. It's easy to make pancakes.
That's true. It's funny. Your answer is exactly the same answer that everyone else that hopped on this show gave.
Yeah.
They grew up on it. You could blueberry waffles. You could have chocolate pancakes, blueberry pancakes.
Yeah.
It's easier.
It's easier, but you could get creative. You could get creative with waffles too. But it is easier. It's low maintenance, I think than waffles, but you grow up on it, right? You like what you grew up on.
That's true. All right. Netflix or Disney Plus?
Man, that's hard. They both have good stuff. Fuck. Say Netflix. Right now, some of their original content's pretty fire. But
What are you watching? What are you watching?
nothing currently on Netflix. I'm actually what was I watching before? I can't even think of it. But like Disney Plus, although I did watch the Marvel stuff. And,
oh yeah,
I'm watching those Marvel series, which is it's really good.
You the Legends? Are you watching the Legends one?
I haven't watched the Legends yet.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say I don't know. I like Netflix, but I'm gonna have to say Disney Plus. I know that's the kid in me. I don't know. I like watching. Well, you might like this, dude. Have you ever seen the Game Changers on Disney Plus? The Mighty Ducks version? Oh my gosh. Do you like the Mighty Ducks?
I watched all of them, yeah.
Bro, you gotta watch. Okay, this is what you gotta do.
I know. I haven't seen Game Changers yet. I mean, that's on my queue. That's on my to-do list, but I haven't watched it yet.
Bro, that's watch that and watch The Big Shot. That's pretty
Big Shot?
Yeah, it's a basketball one, but it's kind of like it's pretty good. I like the storyline. All right. We have a few more here before we head out. Apple or Android?
Funny, man, but I'm all Apple now. If you asked me this 3 years ago, it was Android, it was Mac, or not Android and PC. But now it's all Apple, man. I think people will eventually get converted, no matter how much you push back.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, here's another one: zip up or pullover hoodie?
Zip up.
Yeah, ooh, zip up, not pullover. Okay, why do you like zip up better? You're wearing a zip up right now, aren't you?
Zip up.
Yeah.
Because with the way my shoulders set up, the range of motion, the pull up, I have to throw it over my head, and all that. It's just kind of jacked up. So zip up, I don't have to do too much with over the head.
You're low maintenance. Again, low maintenance, Emeka.
Low maintenance, whatever is the easiest. That's me. I'm convenience.
All right. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
All right, you like me. All right. Scary movie or funny movie?
Scary.
Oh, hell no. You like scary movies?
Oh, I like funny movies too, but I grew up on scary movies, man. Again, it's kind of going back to what you grew up on. I grew up on scary movies. My sisters got me into that shit. It's crazy. I might be crazy, but I don't know, man. I just like scary movies.
What's the scariest movie you saw?
I just watched 2 days ago A Quiet Place 2. And that was the first time I went into a theater since COVID. Like, went in the theater, watched Quiet Place 2, because I didn't see the first one. The first Quiet Place. I heard from my brother it was good, and that shit was good. And I watched it I watched it a couple of days before I went to watch The Quiet Place 2. That was so good, man. It was scary. It was scary.
Okay, I'm not watching it.
It was scary. It was good.
Does it have to do with like spirits?
What's that?
Does it have to do with like spirits and stuff like that?
No, it's more like aliens.
Oh, and it's scary.
It's suspenseful, right? I would say it's more aligned with being a thriller than a scary movie, because those things just pop out of nowhere, and like sitting in the theater, I forget about the surround sound, man. That thing will get you. So it's good, man. I mean, if you don't like scary movies, it doesn't seem like you like scary movies, but
nah. Not a fan, bro. Not a fan. Definitely not a fan. Yeah. All right. Here's a good one. Last but not least, do you favor blocking for a one cut back or a scat back?
One cut back. You already know. You already know, man. Like
I wanted to ask the question.
Come on. I mean. Again, it's ground and pound. Scat back, it's hit or miss. Like you might be blocking on one play and he's out, but like you got to guess a lot. You don't know where he's gonna go. One cut back, man. You line him up. You tell the back where you're gonna block him, and then he takes off. It's easy.
That's very true.
All right.
Well, that wraps up the BEASTwriter 2-minute drill. Emeka, thank you so much for tuning in, man. I had a lot of fun. Are you gonna go to the gym after this?
You know what? I might. I need to. I just ate a lot. So
what are you going to work out today?
I'm going to run. Again, we talked about not running, but I'm going to run maybe get a couple miles on a treadmill. And then,
Are you
gonna go? Are you going in?
I went earlier today before hopping on. I might go again. Actually, I probably if you're going, I'll go. If you go, I'll go. Have you used the Woodway?
Mm-mm.
Okay, the at Villa Sport, you know where the squat racks are, right?
Yeah.
And then over by the corner area, so you see the cardio, and then over by the far kind of that window where you can kind of look down and see the pool area.
Yeah.
All right. So in the corner, there's a Woodway. Those things are the most expensive equipment that gym has. No one wants to talk about that. I know that because it's what I do.
Right next to the rowers.
Yeah. No, not next to the rows. It's actually by itself. There's like 4 Woodways by itself. So you'll see on the back wall all the machines, all the back equipment, and then in front of that, right below the flat screens. Or in front of the flat screens, there's a row of Woodways. There's only 4 of them in the entire gym, obviously because they're so expensive. Yeah. People don't use the Woodway, so it'll say Woodway on it. Basically, it's a cardio machine, but it goes with your motion. So on a treadmill, you're constantly fighting that belt. On the Woodway, it's easier on the knees, it's easier on the joints, and it goes with yes, exactly. It goes with your momentum. So
I didn't know they were called Woodways.
Yeah, that's why you had me, bro. I got you.
I've been on those. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know they were called. I was like,
oh yeah,
Woodways. So yeah. I've been on those. Those are.
You like it, right?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, like I could take off on those and just. You could get tossed. That's what I'm saying. You could get tossed off on one of those. So like, if you're not experienced on the Woodway, stay off of it. The treadmill's cool. You get the same. You can get similar workout, but the Woodways, no, that's a good workout.
It is. It's really good. I'll probably head over there after finishing up this live stream. Probably, I don't know, about an hour or so. But yeah, if you're there, I'll see you there.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, my man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
All right. That was Emeka Nnoli. Hope you guys had fun on that live stream. That was Emeka Nnoli. We're just going to go ahead and open this up to fans' questions. If you guys want to hop on the live stream, go ahead and do so, and we will get the ball rolling on that. You guys can do the live call in right here, and we will get going. Anything you want to talk in regards to all things NFL, I am here for you. Tommy Huxley says, I have to be scared. I should be watching a scary movie. I'm scared, bro. I don't want to watch scary movies, bro. I get too scared, bro. Tommy Huxley says, El Garrido Burrito in Redmond, Washington is as big as a newborn baby. Baby. All right, so we're going to go ahead and touch base on some other things. Let's get to some of your questions. I know you guys have some questions in the live stream, so I'm just going to get back to that. Thank you so much for sending me super stickers and super chats. Thank you so much, 49ers Ultimate Report, for sending that super chat on the audio. I really appreciate the love and support. Mel, diehard Niner fan, thank you so much for sending me the super chat before we went live on our live stream. She actually reached out to me through Twitter, sent me a DM, said she couldn't make it, but she's going to be hopping on our live streams much more. And she was our second BEASTwriter Family giveaway winner. Again, we do BEASTwriter Family giveaway winners every single Family Friday at 2:30 p.m. or earlier on our live stream. So be sure to subscribe to the channel in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast. All right, that'll be it today. I think we're going to wrap up this live stream. I hope all you guys had fun today. I know I did. A guy called Ed says, doing back today, what are your favorites? What are my favorites for back workouts, or what are my favorites to work out? If you're talking about back workouts, definitely, I always go by the saying, Red Bull does not give you wings, as in the drink. Lat pull downs do. So if you want those big lats, you're going to have to do a lot of lat pull downs, and that will give you those wings. And what does that wings mean? That means that V taper. All right. So you want those things to fly out like Bruce Lee. That's something that you guys want to do. You also want to use, well, if you're doing backs, you guys can do, there's a lot of rows you can do, seated rows. You can do lat pull downs, obviously. You can do a lot of pull-ups, a lot of different variations of that. Obviously, you want to do back extensions. You can do deadlifts to work out the lower back. So you're now hitting all 3 parts of the back. Again, when people work out their back, they just do the same exact thing and exactly look exactly the same time and time again. You can go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, but if you're not putting in the gains like me and Emeka, where you're kind of constantly fighting with your body, tricking your body to teach your body to realize what it's going to go into or what it's not going to go into. Now you're going to build up that muscle memory because, again, your body's going to be able to do certain things. It's like a homework assignment. If you do the same homework assignment every single day, you're going to ace it. But if you switch it up time and time again, you're going to switch up things, and then now your body's going to react and be in shock. And that's what you want. You want to shock your body. You want to get that blood flow pumping. So that's what I'll do today. I think I'm going to post a workout video for all of you. Maybe I'll do it with Emeka since he's going to be there at the gym. For those who don't know, we go to Villa Sport in San Jose. It's a high-end gym, but it's a nice gym. Shout out to Will Pickering. Shout out to my man Anthony. Shout out to my man Manny over in the spa treatment area. Ryan Ferguson as well. If you guys want your physical training and personal training needs, head over there. Obviously, Sheila's also there. Giving you guys all shout outs. Look at that. Bree's obviously a big supporter, and so is David. So again, thank you guys for taking care of the BEASTwriter family over at Villa Sport. Really appreciate the love. Mahalo, mahalo. I'm in the dream says Beast, the stream was fire. Thank you so much. And I'm in the dream. You need to hop on my live streams. Maybe we can have our own show together. I really value your input. You have a lot going for you. You have a bright future, kid. For those who don't know, follow I'm in the dream. He does really good work here in the BEASTwriter family. He was on yesterday's live stream. Really had great insight. Kind of picked his brain the other day, and he was on it. He was on it. So very happy for him, and he has a bright future. Keep grinding, kid. You're on the right track. Jerry Yang says Aaron Rodgers didn't report to mandatory training camp today. Has that bridge long burnt, or just negotiation tactic for more money, or getting the GM out? Oh, that's a loaded question, Jerry Yang. And Jerry Yang, if you want to hop on the live stream right now, please do so. Jerry Yang, I know you're watching right now, obviously. We can return our Yang Mondays once. I guess we can do it next Monday if time allows. Yeah, next Monday or the Monday after that, or we can switch it on a different day. But Jerry Yang, I would like to have you back onto the schedule along with Mike Tang on Thursday. So that would be fun. To get back to your question, geez, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think he's mad. I think he just ultimately wants the GM pushed out, but at the end of the day, it's like mandatory minicamp. I think he's not getting fined as much as if he misses mandatory training camp. I think that's the one we got to be looking for, because mandatory training camp, I think he's going to be fined $50,000 per day. $50,000 per day he'll be forfeiting if he misses mandatory training camp for each day missed. A guy called Ed says, oops, I usually do same workouts when I do back, chest, and shoulders. It's okay, but then mix it up. Like, you want to mix up your workouts, bro. That's where you have me here in the BEASTwriter family. I'll go ahead and do some of that stuff for you. I'm in the dream says, DM me on Twitter, bro. Okay. I guess I can DM him on. I'll definitely DM you on Twitter, and we can get the ball rolling on that. Thank you so much. I'm in the dream. Awesome work that you have going on there. And again, follow this kid. I'm in the dream. This kid is young. He's bright, and he's the dream. He's the future. Jerry Yang says, sure, man. I'll hit you up. All right. So it looks like we're going to have a bunch loaded content of BEASTwriter family guests hopping back onto the show. Obviously, if you guys haven't heard the news yet, I am reaching out, and we have locked in Take Flight, the first NFL female scout. She'll be hopping onto the live show. Her name is Connie Carberg, and she'll be on Monday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Your boy has to get his workout on with his boy, Emeka Nnoli. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day on this Workout Wednesday. BEASTwriter is now signing out.